Hello, welcome to Directly to You. It's the 158th episode of Directly to You. It's the fanatixfour podcast. Usually I'm joined by Parker. I'm AJ. We're a fanatixfour, but Parker's not here. I don't know if I'm allowed to say why, but I'm currently joined by Steve and Pete for the first time. And not Steve. Steve's been here before, but Pete's never been here.
Pairs, right?
Yeah. Steve's been here. Pete's never been here.
Long time, first time. Really, really glad to finally be able to come on the show.
Exactly. They're from LootPots. Pete also does a bunch of other stuff. Follow them on Twitter. It's linked. So you can find all their other things that they do. Anyway, you can support us here by going to youtube.com/fanatixfour, twitch.tv/fanatixfour, and giving us $4.99. It doesn't have to be your $4.99 if you're on Amazon. You have a Prime. I mean, if you're on Twitch, you have an Amazon Prime account. You can give us Jeff Bezos' $4.99. Who wouldn't want to do that? You know, you can
Otherwise, it goes right in his pocket.
Exactly. And he has so many $4.99 coins, dude. Did you know that was a thing? Probably not, because Jeff Bezos has all of them.
When you become a billionaire, they start giving them to you. Yeah, you just, you got a $5 coin, $20 coin,
Exactly. No, it's not $5. It's $4.99. You don't even know that. You don't.
I'm not a billionaire.
You don't even know the billionaire tech, dude. In exchange for that, you get access to the Supporters Only Discord. You get loyalty badges. You get emotes on each platform, depending on if you're a YouTube member. You get YouTube emotes. If you're on Twitch, you get Twitch emotes. And you get them on the Discord if you join that. But you can join the Discord for the free by just clicking the link in the description. It's free. You could say hi to Duncan. He'll say yo, yo, yo. Only 3 times. He's only allowed to say it 3 times. Anyways, are you guys playing non-Pokemon Snap-related video games? Because we'll talk about that after we talk about all the other video games.
Sure. The only other game I've been playing right now is Disco Elysium. I picked up the Ultimate Edition. I forget what it's called, but when it came to PS5 a couple weeks ago, and I've been gushing about it over on our podcast. I am a sucker for the whole, like choose your own adventure, like D&D successor type video game.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've played a game that does it better than Disco Elysium in terms of like, when you roll your character, you have like 4 stats that all have like, I think 10 substats or whatever. And every single thing in the game comes down to dice rolls, whether they're like quietly happening in the background or like you actually taking a chance to do something. The best pitch I have for it is probably 2 things. The first time that I played, my character was so physically like weak that I could only take 1 hit before dying. And I died of a heart attack before I left the room. And then when Steve and I streamed it over on our Twitch channel, Steve was making choices, and he had like a roll where it was like a 92% success chance, and he failed.
I genuinely could not believe it.
And like I've had like 3% dice rolls work out for me. So it's like it's truly a game that allows you to like role play as much as you want and really be whatever kind of character you want to be. The tagline is that you can either be like a hero or like an absolute mess, and like that's very accurate.
I'm surprised Parker does not play in that game. Sounds like a Parker game.
I think he would like it. Yeah. It's definitely something that I was interested in when it came out and it got buzz, but I just didn't want to play it on PC. And when it finally came to PlayStation, it was just like the right moment for me.
Isn't it on Switch?
It's
not on Switch, but it's coming.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is it on Xbox? Because Parker has an Xbox.
No, it's not on Xbox.
That's probably why Parker never played it. That explains everything. Parker doesn't have a PC or a PlayStation 4. It's outside of his wheelhouse.
But I will definitely recommend that he come back to it when it drops on Switch later this year, or if it comes to Xbox or whatever. It's definitely, if any of the things that I said sound appealing to you, then it's absolutely a game that you should check out. It's really well written, extremely funny, and I'm nearing the end of it, and I'm like very eager to do multiple playthroughs. I think I want to actually just do like a full one on stream because it has Twitch integration where you can let chat make choices.
Oh, nice.
And that is going to be an absolute
that's
garbage
going to be
fire.
wild. Yep. It's always a good time when you let Twitch decide your fate.
Yeah, so couldn't recommend it more highly. Disco Elysium, check it out.
Steve?
Yeah, so I'm at the moment just obsessed with Hitman 3. I picked it up on sale this
Oh,
week.
did you finally found your hunt? Your hunt was successful.
It was, yeah. I finally got it. And this is my favorite of all of the Hitman games I played. The level design in it is phenomenal. It's really they've stepped it up a gear. It feels like a cohesive story that's very different from the previous Hitman games, in I think in a good way. There's just some really creative missions. There's one which it basically follows the story of the movie Knives Out. You go to this manor in Britain, and you're doing like a murder mystery and trying to pin the blame on someone else so you can access another area. There's one that takes place on a train. There's one where you're in China, and it's like all neon and cyberpunky. It's really, really cool. And I just love these games. They've got such an amazing replay value. You can go in. There's like literally hundreds of challenges in the game to complete. Story missions on every single level. And if you haven't played these games, like you can go back, you can pick up Hitman 3 and you can add in Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 into that third game and get all of the updates from the game engine, play all of the story from Hitman 1 all the way up to...
That is just the coolest feature.
It's really, really cool, yeah.
Like every game that has the ability to do that should absolutely take advantage of that.
Yeah,
you know? Oh my God. So cool.
That's very cool. Well, I just been playing Smash Brothers. It's like I booked, so a while ago I booked a lesson with the 9th best player in the world.
I remember.
And that was the thing, and I was like, this is neat. But then the 3rd best player in the world, and the reason why I took a deep dive in the Pokemon trainer, because he used to main Pokemon trainer and he got 2nd place at Evo with Pokemon trainer. He signed up for the service that's coaching. So I was like, well, I gotta do that. And then everybody was like, you gotta do that. So I did that, and that like unlocked my brain. I was like, oh no, I'm terrible at this video game. and then I just been grinding on that. I just booked another session with them as like a check-in, be like, where am I at now? What do I need to work on next? Exactly. And it's like I'm memeing. Obviously, I'm not bad at the video game. He even acknowledged, just like, no, you understand this, but there's just like stuff that beyond base level that I'm not thinking about, where it's like top players punish you for doing things that you should, because they're like, well, I know you're going to do this because that's what you should do. So I'm going to be there before you and punish you for it. But yeah, I'm doing a check-in. Also, I didn't fight his Pokemon trainer the first time that I did the thing. So I want to like fight his Pokemon trainer and see like what he does in different situations.
Yeah, you got to take on the master so that you can become the master.
Exactly. And I recorded the other session. I'm going to get so much data. Be the best Pokemon trainer that doesn't play this video game for a living.
I'm just imagining you like that classic image of like the all-star quarterback, right? Where like it's the day after, you're sitting there with both your hands just in buckets of ice. You know, and you're watching the footage like, that's where I went wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. But speaking of Pokemon, the main event, dude, freaking new Pokemon Snap, man. New Pokemon Snap. It's beautiful. I love it.
It is beautiful. As soon as I booted it up, I was struck by 2 immediate thoughts. I was like, 1, this is a very pretty video game, and 2, man, do I want a Switch Pro more than ever, because this is a very pretty video game and it could run so much better. Seeing this game at like 60 locked would be amazing.
What's it clocking in at then? Is it cut to 30? Because I haven't played this.
So I'm not sure where it locks. Like, I'm not sure what it's pushing for, but I notice a lot of like kind of those classic moves that are used by devs to I'm trying
like
to
a
say
lot of motion blur and all that stuff. And
especially like on the sides of the screen, or like, you know, like there's maybe like fog off in the like little things like that. But also I noticed some frame dips in moments where there were, you know, a lot of action on screen and stuff like that. And I've seen some clips of people who get to portions later on than from what I've seen firsthand, where there was some pretty bad frame rate drops.
I don't think that really matters for this kind of video game, though.
It doesn't matter to me at all. No. Not even a little bit. No. Because I didn't even like. I know that that's a thing from seeing other people complain about it, but that's that's it. Because like I'm not even thinking about that when I'm playing this game.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say that as like that's what's wrong with this game. It's more like it's one of those.
It would be an additional plus if it wasn't an issue.
Yeah, in the same way that like you talk about the forest in Breath of the Wild, right? And you're like, man, you crawls there, but that doesn't make it less of a masterpiece, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's one very small part of the game that, like, because of how Breath of the Wild is structured, you don't even have to go there. You don't ever have to see the forest. Somebody can be like, "What are you talking about?" I beat Ganon and never knew that was a thing.
Yeah, and like with this game, it's definitely a little bit more.
You have to deal with it.
Yeah, it's baked into the experience, But like at the end of the day, from what I've seen so far, anyway, it hasn't really been anything that got in the way of me having a good time with it. Because I was just immediately struck by how great it looks, and that it immediately strikes that chord of nostalgia. If you like most of the people who have been hyped for this game, played it as a kid and have those warm feelings for it. For me anyway, like as soon as I got past the tutorial and it actually let me loose, it was like that immediate endorphin rush,
Yeah. And like the thing that I love the most about this game is it's more detached from the original game, because like I like the original game, but I don't have a whole bunch of nostalgia attached to it. Like really? I used to not really like Pokemon Snap, because it was like, I'm just playing Pokemon Stadium 2, dude. I don't want to play Pokemon Snap. But I like new Pokemon Snap because as I get older, I realize more and more it's like I don't like the gameplay of regular Pokemon games. I just like the world, and I deal with the gameplay because I like the world so much. And this game is it's freaking Detective Pikachu all over again, where it's like it's another way to experience the world in the way that they try to sell it to you, but you don't see it in any of the video games. You just hear about it, or it's like, oh yeah, and Pikachu can do this, but all you see on the screen is like 3D models and baked in animations and stuff of the move when you press the button to do the move. Like,
I think the Detective Pikachu thing is something that I don't think I thought of, but now that you say that, that's like the perfect comparison, because I remember walking away from that movie and like the first, like, I don't know, 10 minutes of it where they're like, or maybe 5, where they're just like establishing shots and they're showing the city and they're showing all the normal people just going about their lives. And
you see a Charmander walking when he got thrown out of a Pokeball. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Or it's like, there's some guys working on a building and they've got, a macho carrying a girder as they walk by or whatever, like that kind of stuff where you're like, it's like, what would the world of Pokemon actually feel like versus what you're imagining it to be like, and seeing these kinds of things where it's like, you see the Pokemon kind of in their natural habitats and everything. Like there's been a few moments that I thought were really cool where it was, the first level that you're on, it's the daytime the first time that you go there and you're not able to go for the night run. I haven't even done the night run yet. But like I saw a Hoot in a tree and I'm like, oh, he's asleep and I can get his picture while he's asleep, but I know he'll be awake later. Or like,
Yep.
Or there are like moments where like there are certain Pokemon that are like hiding in the grass or they're like hiding behind a tree because they see you and they're trying to avoid you. And it's like, it really kind of emulates that feeling of like, you imagine what like bird watching or like being on safari would be like, where you're like, oh, like I really want to see this animal, but they're wary of me and I need to figure out the way to get close and, to get those kinds of photographs that like real legit nature photographers get,
Yeah. And it has like the whole visual storytelling thing where it's like, there's charred fruit here. What did this?
Which Pokemon did this?
Who did this?
and like on the first level, there's like that Pichu and the Grookey, and like they're like running around and they're like playing together, but then they run away from you, and then you see them on another part of the map, and like it is really cool, the little moments of like environmental storytelling and stuff like that, and like I'm excited to see how the levels evolve, because
how it expands from there.
Because
like with the original game, it had that, but it's so much more intentional in this game where as you play it, the Pokemon in this area are like, nah, man, he's cool. Like he came here and he didn't knock down all the trees and stuff. He's fine, man. He's just trying to hang out. So like, I'm not gonna run away this time. I'm gonna let him see me play with my Grookey friend. Like,
yeah, like I like how in the original it feels like the reason you go back to the other levels is because you unlock new items and like there's new interactions that you can kind of like force because you have new tools to play with, which is cool. But I like that this is also tied to like character progression, so that like when you hit level 2, you know, like you said, the Pokemon are like used to you now. So like they'll come at different angles, or like they'll do different actions that you hadn't been able to access before. And there's like, you know, branching paths on some levels and stuff like that, which, you know, all of those little things feel like the right kind of minor innovations because, you know, it's been so long since we had Pokemon Snap. Really, everybody just wants the same thing again with some new bells and whistles. And it feels like the new bells and whistles are like additive in a way that really deepens the experience without feeling like they're just trying to shove features in to justify charging $60, you know?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people that it's weird because I mean there's going to be questions about it in the Q&A from the YouTube community because Parker said something about whether people are going to buy it or not. It's weird that people are saying that like, oh, this game's not worth $60 now, because I feel like those same people would say the game wasn't worth $80 or whatever it was when it first came out. And it's like, yes, now I wouldn't pay $60 for the original Pokemon Snap, but the modern day version of that, I think it's absolutely worth that. There's so much content in this game, like just based off of like, even if you're not a completionist, if you're going to beat the game, like roll credits on it, there's so much stuff. Cause it's like, you gotta do the day version and at least get to level 2. So you unlock the night version, then you unlock the Lumina version, then you got to beat that. And then you got to beat the same thing on those other levels. Then it's like, oh, you get all these extra items. So what does that do on the other levels and stuff like that? Oh, there's the whole thing of like the 4 different star levels for every Pokemon, where it's like, I got to get this basic version of the Pokemon, the best possible picture I can get the basic version. Then the next step up from that, then the next step up from that, and then the 4-star from there. And then each star rating has a rarity or like a
bronze,
high
silver,
score. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Quality grading of it.
Exactly. There's like 200. They said there's over 200 Pokemon in this game. Each one of them, you got to get 4 different ratings, and then try to get the platinum version of all 4 of those different variants of the 250 Pokemon or 200 Pokemon in the game. Like that's so much stuff to do. Unless it's something that you're just straight up not into, that's a different thing. But somebody worried about the amount of content, if you like the game and the gameplay loop, there's a lot to do, a whole lot.
And I think you're right. I think I understand the argument of feeling like the game isn't worth $60 just because I think, not to say that, not because of it being like content light or anything, but more just that like, I think when you compare it to, you know, some other games that are in those price ranges, right? Like, you know, and not every game needs to give you the same amount of hours and everything like that. Like, I think ultimately a game is worth what you're willing to pay for it. And for me, I wanted new Pokemon Snap enough and know as a Nintendo fan, right, that like it's probably never going to go on sale. Or if it will, it's going to be very rare. That I'm like, whatever. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and say, I want this product enough to spend $60 on it because I believe in it and I believe I'll have a good time with it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people will find that with us, like us.
Yeah.
But I also can understand the argument of, you know, you compare it to, say, you know, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a game that I paid $50 for last year and, you know, has a similar amount of time invested to get through the main story, but also has a lot more content, more variety of content. And I think it's almost, you know, impossible to argue that like they cost the same amount to make, right? And you get into this area of like, are they charging?
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know
think
about that. Because
I mean,
with
just
new
because,
Pokemon
like-
Snap, that's a brand new game. It's them making like stuff
That's
for
fair.
this game. Miles Morales is building off of
Yeah.
Spider-Man PlayStation 4.
That's fair.
So I
That's a
wouldn't
fair
be
point.
surprised if Miles Morales was actually cheaper than new Pokemon Snap to make.
Fair point, right? There is groundwork there they can build off
Yeah.
of. But ultimately, like, I think if this game was marked at like that kind of new emerging price of the $10 less than the $60 title,
Yeah.
or like
That's pretty
$20
common.
less.
Nintendo games as well lately. I think
Yeah.
we just mentioned 3 in the UK was that lower price game.
Right.
Same as like all the ports like Tropical Freeze, Pikmin was
Mhm.
at
Tropical
that
Freeze
level.
was. Oh, you're talking about in the
Yeah,
in the UK,
UK.
we
Gotcha.
get it.
Yeah.
We always get it for like I think it's $49.99, and it's only
Mhm.
really like the Zeldas and the Super Mario's that are coming
Right.
in at £60.
I think that underscores why they do it though. Because a lot of people, they position it almost like favors where it's like, oh, this is a whole game, drop the price. But
Right.
they don't think of it like that. They're like, how much can we sell this for? How much is this market going to pay for this? And I think in the US, especially given me and you, Pete, our reaction to this game, given our reaction and how much we love Pokemon and Pokemon Snap specifically, they'd be undervaluing Pokemon if they charged $50 for this game.
And I think that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say I
talking
just
the whole
checked it.
time.
I just checked. It's £50 in the UK, so it is
Gotcha.
that
Okay, there you go.
one tier
Mhm.
down. I also think probably some of the people that are saying it's too rich for me, I wouldn't spend that. Maybe are looking at it through the eyes of all of these other games have photo mode, so why do I need to buy
Mhm.
photo mode the game? But I think that's doing a real disservice to Pokemon Snap because there is so
Yeah.
much gameplay there. But perhaps that's the fault of Nintendo for leaning into that nostalgia and not really explaining the gameplay loop in the trailers. It very much does just look like you're taking a bunch of photos. There's no real goal to achieve. There's nothing to
Yeah.
go towards. I didn't realize there was like, all of those different tiers, even within the stars,
Right.
in order to progress.
Because the gameplay isn't even taking the pictures. That's not the gameplay. That's the reward for the gameplay. It's like, oh, I set up this scenario, so I'm going to take a picture of this scenario.
It's like a puzzle game.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is. Yeah, because like I think like that's where the loop comes in, right? Is like I remember I did my first run, right? And I had a moment where I think it was a Molga, like just swooped down and
Yep.
flew past me, and I was like, oh, I missed him, but I know he's there next time. So next time he comes, I'm gonna know to look there and swing at this moment, and like
Exactly.
it is like that, the aha moment, like that's what the game's all about. And like, if you dig that, you're gonna dig it. And that's the thing is it's so tough when you get in this conversation of like, what is a game worth? Because it's worth different things to different people, like
Yeah.
they're like, I think of something like Undertale, which I paid $10 for on Steam. I would have paid $60. I pay $100 for that. It's one of the best games I ever played,
Yeah.
But some people wouldn't agree with that,
There's
they'd
no
say-
way I would have paid $100 looking at those screenshots. I was struggling to justify paying them £10.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you were wrong.
But now I see as one of my favorite games of all time. But you see those screenshots, you're like, what the hell is this thing?
And I think that's the thing, though, right? Is like you have to make that call for yourself, and like what, like the experience you're going to get out of it is either it's going to be worth it or not for you. Right. And like, to me, I'd rather have a blissful 8 hours with this game than, 100+ hours with a game that like, I kind of like,
Yeah.
And some people don't feel that way. Some people like
Yeah.
the amount of time you're going to get out of it is the, bottom line. And
Yeah,
whatever.
which is like a big, it's like a weird rabbit hole to fall down, because like for me, I think about value in games the same way I think about value in entertainment in general. Like people are like, $60 for a video game, but then they're like, $40 to go to the movies. It's like, I'm gonna go see a hour and 45-minute long movie and pay $44 to go with like my friend, and maybe we each get popcorn,
Yeah.
versus even a 6-hour game for $60. It's like, I don't know, man. Like that argument kind of falls apart when it's like like dollar per hour sort of situation, because even the shortest games generally outstrip that. And for me, it's not even like there's plenty of games that I buy for full price. I play for 3 hours. I'm like, I had enough of this. And it's fine because it's like those 3 hours were good enough. I'm happy with those 3 hours. They were solid. I don't feel like the game like shortchanged me. It wasn't like a bad it didn't lie to me. And I think that that's the most important thing. It's like if you're not into the value proposition of Pokemon Snap, that's different from it not being worth its asking price, because it's not asking you for $60 pretending to be Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's asking you for $60 telling you that it's the best possible Pokemon Snap that it can be.
Yeah, and you know, you're ultimately, you know, as a consumer going to make that call for yourself. And I think the thing is that, like, you see a lot of people who are totally feel like it was worth it and are loving the game today all day, right? I saw, you know, friend of the show, Sierra Plus Ultras, streaming it for 6 hours today. I saw Mega Man was going nuts about it. It's not early in Australia, not early, but in Australia since yesterday for us. And they're hyped. They're having a great time with it. And, you know, for me, like, I got to play, you know, maybe an hour of it today, knowing I was going to come chat with you about it. And like, all I've been thinking about all day is like, I can't wait. Can't wait to get back to it. Can't wait to
That's
just
the best feeling. That really
zone
is.
out. Oh my God.
I literally did I joined in on some guys, OCG, Alex. They were streaming Smash Brothers before this, and they were like, "Yo, you want to play Smash Brothers?" And then I was like, "All right, I have some time. I could play Smash." And I went to open the game, and I instinctively went to Pokemon Snap. I was like, "Oh shoot!" I was like, "I didn't mean to do that."
You just message him, and you're like, "Nah, man, I'm busy." Actually.
Yeah, I actually am on Pokemon Snap. But I'm 1000% playing it. As soon as this podcast starts rendering, I am playing new Pokemon Snap. But good times. Pokemon
Are your favorite Pokemons both in there?
I don't know. My favorite
yet.
Pokemon is Charizard. I'd assume he's in the video game.
Yeah.
He's probably definitely going to be in there.
Mine's Blastoise, so it's kind of like 50-50.
Well, we know Blastoise is in the game.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah,
yes.
there's been footage of Blastoise.
He was in the last trailer, or was it?
I think I just opened. I think he was in the first trailer.
Was it? It's been a while since I watched it.
I think I just unlocked the because now what I'm doing. So I streamed it last night when it launched, and we'll get to the other thing I streamed before, or try to after this. But I streamed it when it first launched, and what I was doing then was I was like doing all I needed to do to unlock the next level and then like the next area. But now what I'm doing is I'm going through each area each time of day and trying to max out the level for that.
So how many hours in are you? How many worlds have you?
We can check right now. Oh wait, no, we can't. Actually, yes, we can. I lied.
Oh, does it tell you in the game? Because that's the worst annoying thing. It's like
exactly that was
to find
that
out.
was the first thing. That was what I was going to check, and I was like, wait, no, I can't do that. And I was like, wait, no, I can do it because it tells me in the video game.
It's ridiculous. Of just like, yes, 14 days ago. It's like, I don't care. That's not useful information.
That doesn't help me at all. Okay, lab. Where do I go from here?
Right, Steve.
Your space.
Steve, we're gonna tread some water. We're gonna tread some water right now.
Your info. 4 hours.
Nothing, Steve. Come on.
I need you, Pete, to send me a picture of your favorite picture for our show.
Oh, so you can print it.
Yeah, I've got my printer ready to print it.
Did you see that, AJ?
No.
So what's the brand?
It's the Fuji Instax. You can print from Pokemon game.
Yeah, they're doing they did like a Switch version and like a Pikachu one.
Yep. I saw that.
The app's basically the same, but you can like theme it. So I themed mine like Animal Crossing, and you can scan the QR code on the Switch.
There we
go. It will like scan the QR code.
That's how much time I have in the game, and it's counting
almost 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how many worlds have you unlocked then?
I think 5, 4 or 5.
Yeah. I'm wondering how many there are.
I don't know yet.
Let's find out.
We shall see.
Yeah, I've heard it takes about 8 hours to finish to roll credits. So
yeah, I saw on How Long to Beat it was 8 hours, but reviewers were saying it's like 10.
Yeah,
So,
I saw Joe Merrick from Cerebi said I think it took around 8 hours to roll credits and then 10 hours to like complete the photo decks.
mhm.
So yeah, so you got a good chunk even if you're just doing the bare minimum.
Yep. Yeah, I think 10 hours, even for like the games like The Last of Us sort of things and stuff like that. Honestly, like The Last of Us specifically is too long. The Last of The Last of Us 2 and
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 are both too long.
They
Both
could
of
they could both be like 5 to 10 hours shorter.
Yeah,
probably.
I think Uncharted 4 specifically could be like 4 hours shorter, and The Last of Us could be like 8.
Sure.
Like that game's like 23 hours for no reason.
And I love both of those games, but I agree with you.
Yeah. I didn't really like Uncharted 4 that much, but I do like The Last of Us.
I really liked Uncharted 4 with the flashbacks to when they were kids and stuff. I actually did.
I just didn't like I didn't like the pacing of the game because like the game knows that it's taken too long and it does certain things a lot, and it like kind of pokes fun at it.
Yeah, it must have been on like 2 occasions. I felt like I was getting to the end of the game, and it just continued.
Yeah,
so
and that's the worst. It's the worst when you're like, oh, the game's almost done, and it's like, nope. It's like, no, I'm ready to be done with this video game.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny because like I feel like it's the worst unless it isn't. Because like I remember when I played like the original Red Dead, that happens like 3 times where you're like, oh, is this the end of the game? Oh, it's not, and like that was
like when it's done
like
well.
2 hours
when
in,
it's done well.
Fine.
Yeah, when it's done well is the thing, because like with Uncharted specifically, tangent, but with Uncharted 4 specifically, it like plays it as a joke where it's like, you thought, and it's not like this thing that's like, oh my God, the world just got bigger. It's like, oh my God, they just arbitrarily extended the length of this video game.
Sure.
Because it's stuff like, nah, he wasn't in this place. He's in this place. And then you go to that place and he's like, nope, he's not there. He's there.
Watch some more stuff blow up.
Yep. Watch Nathan Drake talk about how he has gravel in his pants because they make you slide on every chance that they get. But yeah, new Pokemon Snap, good times.
That's a Nintendo podcast,
right? But the other game, the game that I tried to stream before this, Miitopia, the Miis, what is going on? I'm sequence breaking because this is a better transition than the Mario Party Online. We'll get there.
I wasn't going to acknowledge it, but fine.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there after this.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see it because, like, I don't know. I never had like a ton of love for Miis. Like, I always thought they were fine, but I certainly wasn't sad to see them go. But I do remember back on the Wii, like, how much fun it was to like browse through the custom Miis that people had made and download.
Me and my sister would go online, we'd Google with them. I think there was like a wiki website you could go to where people would upload how to create like celebrities and stuff, and we'd like make them and then have them, and they would show up in like Wii Sports. They'd be like the characters you're playing against in Wii Sports. It was so stupid. Yeah,
dude, I remember so many like goofy ones like that. Like my favorite one was I had an excellent Dr. Zoidberg from Futurama. So it would just be like, oh, Wii boxing, and it's like, oh, crud, I gotta fight Zoidberg.
That's like, so when I tried streaming this, and Parker, he wrote the videos for this week, and I recorded and edited them because he's doing a thing.
Right.
But he said in the video where it's like you gotta set time aside to like make Miis before you start the game, so it's like you can just assign the Miis that you already have, and I didn't have time to do that. So it was like, all right, I'm starting this, I'm going to do this right before new Pokemon Snap, and we're going to go from this game to that game, and hopefully I'll beat it. I didn't even actually start Miitopia because I had to make Miis. I spent like an hour making 2 Miis, and then new Pokemon Snap was out, and I was like, well, rip.
But I feel like if you're into character creators at all in games, then that's the game for you. Like you just spend forever crafting the perfect me.
Like some of the stuff that people have made is just ridiculous.
Yeah, like the stuff on this Nintendo Life article.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because like you know, you like I said, you could download so many crazy ones, but like they've really like developed the tools a lot, so you have a lot more control and like articulation options and stuff. And like there's like a strong bad, there's a Mr. Clean, like it's insane. Here we go. All right. AJ sharing the screen. Yeah, this is
Mega
nuts,
Man.
man.
Mega Man.
SpongeBob.
Little baby
SpongeBob
Mega
is
Man.
so good.
The SpongeBob.
I don't know
This,
who that is.
yeah, I don't even know who this is. Who is this?
It says
Does it even
Morshoe,
say?
I think. When you hovered over it, it looked like it said Morshoe. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Let's find
That's
out.
strong, man. Garfield.
Oh my God. He's the shopkeeper from one of the CDI Zelda games.
Oh,
Wow,
the
that's
one
a
with-
deep cut.
Yeah, that is a deep
This
cut.
Mr. Clean, I have this Mr. Clean on mine. This Mr. Clean is like what? Like
Iconic, dude.
the freaking lighting on. Like
His mouth is really unsettling. Like how defined his lips are.
yeah,
Oh, I don't like that at all.
it's so wild, dude.
The earring so perfectly round.
It's so wild. People do crazy stuff, and it's like they undersold the character creator in this game.
Yeah. Oh my God.
By a lot. And they're like, you know, slightly improved, you know, new customization options. It's
Slightly.
like freaking a better character customizer than Monster Hunter Rise. Like, it's freaking wild, dude.
The thing I'm interested in about this, because like I was never gonna play this game. This is not for me, but
How
this
dare
is
you.
the content I want. Like I want to see what other people make.
Yes.
Because I'm just not that kind of gamer.
Mhm.
But I remember there was that story a few months ago. There was that woman who was a modder who like figured out that all of the faces in Zelda are based on the Mii design. I wonder if you can bring these updated ones into it, because like that would be
That would be wild. Like you freaking
you
bring
imagine?
the Garfield me into Breath of the Wild.
Can you imagine? Like, oh my God, that'd be incredible.
the Mr. Clean will be cursed.
That would be awful. But yeah, I follow her on Twitter. I can't remember her name right now, but I'm hoping that she experiments with it, because she was doing some wild stuff with it.
Oh, their banjo that's in the thumbnail is cool too.
Oh my
That's in the
God,
thumbnail
yeah.
of the Nintendo
That looks
Live
great.
video. I don't know anything about how the game plays because I didn't get that far, but I'll get there eventually. Apparently, it's like a comedy game or something. I'll never know, or I'll know eventually because I'm going to buy the game probably, most likely, because it's like it seems like a fun stream game, so I'll get it for that.
Totally. Yeah.
But other than that, freaking speaking of streaming games, I also stream this freaking Mario Party. Super Mario Party got online update. Who would have thought?
I'm so curious to find out how the multiplayer works on this.
Yeah.
Because we're streaming it next week. With,
okay, so you guys haven't played it yet.
No.
No.
I got cut out. I got cut out of the squad.
Sorry, we only had
No.
one seat free.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Chewy asked us to do it, and then Sierra commented, and I was like, all right, that's 4.
Rip, dude. Rip. You hate to see it.
Here's the thing, though, AJ. You know that Steve's gonna like bail out early because it's gonna be like 1 in the morning. Just come on through.
We've already been told by Chewy that he can't start till 7, which is midnight my time. So I know I'm not going to make it all the way through. It's just not going to happen.
So you come through at 8 o'clock. There'll be a perfect spot.
Mhm. So I haven't played this. I played it the day that it dropped with people that live in New York. So it was great. There was no lag. I mean, there was one other person that joined from the chat. I don't know where he lives. After the first party that we did, there was literally one instance of a little bit of lag during a mini game. So it's like, it feels pretty solid, especially for something that they added later. Where it's like this.
So better than when we played 3D World?
Yes, significantly better than that. Because even 3D World, like when I first played that, and again, played it mostly with people that are in the tri-state area, and Mega Man was the other person. There was like a little bit of lag, and like that was I was like, it's because Mega Man. He's in freaking New Zealand.
He's
like
30 time zones away.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, duh. And then we played it on stream and it was awful. So it's like, I don't know, your mileage may vary, but I'm doubtful on this because like literally there was, like I said, one instance of a little bit of lag that anybody noticed at all. And it wasn't even like a thing that was like, oh, that ruined this game. I missed the because it's freaking Mario Party. They're like, you're not out here doing skillful inputs. It wasn't like, man, I missed my frame 2 punish. Like, no, it's Mario Party.
Yeah, like the margin for error is only so high, you know. Like even if it did screw you over for like one mini game, it's like, all right, whatever. There's like 14 more. We're fine.
Yep. But you can play. So there's 3 different modes that are playable online. You could do the partner party, you could do Mario Party, or the mini games mode. I only did the Mario Party. Partner party might be fun to check out. I should probably try that.
Partner party is quite good in that. It's basically free roam. You can go anywhere on the board. It's good fun.
That's cool.
I was kind of sad that they didn't do the other modes, like the rhythm mode. And
that would have been
really
a
like that
nightmare
mode.
to sync up, like online with the rhythm mode.
I don't know.
It's true, but it would have been hilarious. That's probably why they didn't do it, but it would have been funny.
You know, something I would love to know about this game. I don't imagine it's the case, but considering it didn't have online at launch and we're getting it now, I'm wondering if this is one of the games taking advantage of the new online infrastructure.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not? Okay.
other than Monster Hunter. Because Monster Hunter right now is only.
Someone was asking the person that found that app about the Windows 98 netcode on
Oatmeal
Twitter.
Dome,
Oatmeal,
I think it's
Oatmeal Dome, yeah. It uses the same netcode as 3D World.
That's a bummer.
Dude.
I'm not surprised to hear that. That's kind of what my assumption was. But when you're saying like, oh, we had a better connection, I'm like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is like, and that's another part of this where it's like you can invite your friends and stuff like that, and this game uses the system-wide setting for that, and people don't know it's a thing, and I think that's like another nail in the coffin for people's whole thing where it's like the universal complaint is like Switch Online is bad, and it's like, no, developers that make their video game and if their online video game is bad, they're bad. Like Smash Online is bad, but like Splatoon is pretty good. It's like this is an example
Like
of
Fortnite
that
runs fine.
Yeah, it's like this is another example of that where it's like this is a system-wide feature, the invite thing, but nobody knows it's a thing because there's like 4 games that like 4 developers that are like, okay, I'll implement that into the video game.
And like Nintendo's not good at communicating that features exist. So like that's a thing that like,
well, it's in the patch notes. I don't know how many companies.
But like, how many people are reading the patch notes? You know,
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see Microsoft or Sony screaming from the rooftops, "We updated the firmware. Here's what it does."
Oh,
like that's
totally
usually
like Xbox is one this week was we've added a folder so that it does quick resume and it tells.
Was
you
it not in there? Was it
resume.
not the same way? Like in patch notes?
it was.
They
but
also,
then they
they blog about it as well, and
Okay.
and then
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
post it on their Twitter feed. So they do advertise it a little bit more, but it's not like say when Apple releases an iPhone.
They don't put it on a. Yeah, it's not a presentation.
It's like a presentation. Yeah,
Exactly.
But even so, like we knew it happened, you know, and like you knew to look for the feature.
Yeah, I mean, but I knew that the invites thing was a thing.
Sure.
But the biggest reason why people don't know it's a thing is because developers aren't implementing it. I guarantee you, developers know it's a thing, and they're the only people that need to know it's a thing. Because the reason why most people don't know is because developers aren't implementing it, and Nintendo's guilty of that because there's a lot of Smash Brothers that doesn't have it implemented. But it's just not like people throwing all their problems on Switch Online is the thing that's like the inaccuracy here, because it's like that's not how online ecosystems work. It's not like Xbox Live is not an ISP. Like games that run solid on Xbox Live are because that individual's game's networking is good. But Mario Party, it's a thing. It's fun. Apparently, there are like 10 mini games that don't work online. I don't even know which ones they are.
I'd be interested to know why.
I think it would probably be obvious if we knew what 10 weren't. So let's see.
I've always wanted to play the ones that require 2 switches. Have either of you ever played those where you put like 2 switches together?
No.
Like the
drive over?
Toad Rec Room or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
I've never been able to play them.
Online update mini games.
Yeah, I never got to try those. Like I think I only know like 1 or 2 people who I see in real life who own it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was always like the moment for that game was pretty short-lived. So it was
Because
like
they added 4
Oh, it's
boards.
Game Explain. Of course, Game Explain has this video, dude.
yeah, I don't know.
Tell me to 10
you're
mini
right.
games, man.
There wasn't enough boards. There wasn't enough there, I think, to keep people as invested as, you know,
Not even enough mini games. You can only play 60 online.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what because this game sold like freaking 12 million units or something crazy like that. Strike It Rich is one that doesn't work. Time to Shine. I don't know what any of these are by the name. Time to Shine, Take a Stab, All Star Swingers,
So
Rhythm
they're
and
all,
Brews,
I think they're all motion-based ones.
Pep
So like
Rally.
That would make
Stab
sense.
is like Stagging the
Wipeout,
Pokey. The
Fiddler
Strike It
on the
Rich is one of the coin mini games.
Clearing the Table, and
Yeah, that one's another
Red
motion
Top
one.
and Op. There's some motion ones though.
I think
There's like
most of
there's
those
like
on that.
motion steering and stuff like that that's on there.
Oh, well, the trike hard one, that one's like ridiculous to do. Like the hand motion you have to do is like this.
Yup. So yeah, I guess that's why motion.
Yeah, it's probably like the more advanced ones were just
Mhm.
maybe too hard to get sunk up. But
Range.
either way, it is very interesting to see this happen like 2 years after the game's release.
Yeah.
It's cool. Love to see it. Love to see continued support. It makes sense. Like you said, the game sold really well. It's one of the best-selling games on Switch, which I always forget about because like I feel like its moment was so short-lived. That,
Yeah, like you would think it didn't sell anything because it's
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
You play it for a day and it's like, well, there's nothing to do here. Freaking, it's 2021. I'm not going to somebody's house to play Mario Party.
Right,
Like,
and there's no online, so obviously
Yeah,
we can't do
exactly.
anything. But yeah, man, I wanted to love that game so much more than I did. I liked it, but I just really hope they could give us a Super Mario Party 2 that
yeah, I just want that,
I just want
especially after
DLC.
this. Exactly, I want DLC. Like,
That's all I
and
want.
I'm hopeful for it again because at first I was like, this game's old this much. That's our thing. We make videos where it's like, yo, this would be dope, and we're like, yo, it'd be dope if Mario Party got DLC, and the online was part of that. Where it's
Right.
like I would pay for that. So the fact that they did online for free, I'm like, maybe we'll get some boards.
give us some boards.
I want boards bundled with mini games. You know how
Yeah,
Smash is like a board with a character and the music. It's got to be like
yep.
it's got to be like you get a board and you get 5 mini games that are like
Yes.
themed to match that.
I
board.
would be very down for that.
And like, I don't know, dude. The idea of making like, because like I said, I would love like a Super Mario Party 2 because I do think there are some like mechanical things I'd love for them to change. Like I didn't like the changes to the economy. Like stars,
like the stars being 10
they're too
coins
cheap.
is-
Yeah, they just go. It's like it messes with it a little bit, I think. So I think that there are some things that I would like to see them like let's fix that stuff, move forward for a second one. But
Granted,
the idea
we don't need a new game to do that, but it's justification enough for them to do it.
Sure.
So that is probably what they're going to do. Honestly, it's what they're going to do. And
But-
I gave up hope on that. I thought that I was like, they're probably going to do Super Mario Party 2, and that's how we'll get online.
I really don't want that though. Like it goes back to the
I don't
Hitman
either,
conversation. Like I want to be able to open up one game and have all the boards there,
Right.
rather than have to like switch cartridges and like find the board I want. It's not in this one. It's in the other one.
That's what I was driving to is like I would love to see them make a Mario Party game that they treat like a platform in the way that they treat Smash like a platform where it's
This
like
one's called Super Mario Party. Why is this not that game?
right, and it should be, right? And the only
Yeah.
reason I want a sequel is because I want them to change mechanical stuff. But I like all the content. I want all those boards and all those games to come over, but like also give us new stuff, but like also, man, like give us legacy stuff. Like it would be so easy to be like, it's the Mario Party 2 collection, and it's like the 3 most popular boards from Mario Party 2 and the top 50 most popular mini games, and like do that for each game. And I'd buy all of it. Are you kidding me? And like,
I think see that I think is enough for them to like actually make a new game and then not be a thing of like there's enough justification for them to sell it, but enough for me to buy it and be like, oh yeah, I'm fine with that. That's
a
cool.
worthwhile upgrade.
But like, because the boards, like the design philosophy behind the boards in this game is just way off relative to the older games, because these boards are like way more on the board game end of things, where it's just straight up a board game, and it might have like one gimmick, like that's
really small. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. But that's exactly what I mean, where it's like it's built to like with the intent for you to go around the board at least 2 times within a 10-turn minigame. The other boards, that might not happen. You might not make it around the board throughout the whole entire thing once, because how big the boards are and how they have like multiple like wild things that happen. It's like, oh, you ran into Bowser, so now you're on this, you're back at the beginning, and it's
right,
like
exactly.
there's this like board specific mini game that's not actually a mini game, like there's a lot of different things like that within how the old boards were designed. But in this, it's like they pick 1 or 2 gimmicks, and that's what the whole smaller board is. It's like Mario Party Light boards or something.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I don't know that there's something bad about that inherently. Like, if they had some boards that were stylized to be shorter because they're better for shorter matches or whatever, like, that's cool. But I don't know, man. Like, I really just think Mario Party like lost something in translation over the years, and like I want to see a game that can kind of snap back to the design philosophy that you saw in the first like 4 or 5 games, because those games rule. They truly rule. And like, I played Mario Party 2 on my Wii for like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years. It was like a regular rotation game where like the squad's over, maybe you're having a couple drinks or whatever, and like, let's play Mario Party 2. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And Super Mario Party never had that for me. It never had that appeal.
I think for me, I like Super Mario Party, or liked it. I like it now still, but like I liked it more than I think a lot of people did, because I played freaking Mario Party 9 and 10. And this was like a return to form after those, where it was like, those games suck. And it was like, I knew they sucked then. Like that's like one of the things where,
that's how desperate I am for a good Mario Party.
I just was like, yo, Mario Party's dope. I need to buy Mario Party. And then I bought Mario Party, and I was like, yo, this one sucks. And then 10 came out, I was like, maybe better, I guess. This one sucks too. And that's like one of the first videos that I ever made, where I was like, Mario Party's garbage now, dude. Like, and then here we are freaking 4 years later or whatever, and I'm like, dude, Mario Party's still garbage.
It's insane, because like, when I think of like what are the best Nintendo franchises in terms of like sales or like being appealing to non-gamers, it's Mario Party and it's Mario Kart. And Mario Kart has always been good.
Yes.
Like, there's really not a bad Mario Kart. The worst Mario Kart is still okay.
Yes.
And like, was good enough for the time. Yeah. But like, we've been on like a 5-game clip of Mario Party, where it's like,
well, yeah, I mean, if you're counting the handheld, because I think Mario Party 8 gets a bad rap. I like Mario Party 8. I think Mario Party 8 is in line enough with what Mario Party was, and people just don't really like it because it has a lot of like motion mini games, and that was like in the time where it's like motion is just like bad motion, period. Like that's just the thought process here. Where it's like there's motion mini games in Super Mario Party, and a lot of them are fun. And Mario Party is that type of game where it's like, I'm cool with dumb motion. Like it doesn't have to be the most accurate thing. In a post-Splatoon world, like it can even be accurate. So I don't have a problem with motion. I think in retrospect, Mario Party 8 is good, but Mario Party 9 and 10 specifically, and I haven't really played any of the recent handheld ones, so they might be part of the bad trend.
I mean, I think it will change when Hudson died and they handed the keys over to Andy Cube, but maybe that's part of the problem. They lost the original team and the original designers that came up with the concept,
which is like, obviously that's like a huge problem, right? Like, I think that's a thing that gets lost a lot of times when there are a lot of gamers that don't think about that, right? That like, it's not the studio, it's the people at the studio that make the game. But it's surprising that it's been this bad for this long. It's probably
Yeah.
still sell, but it's like it's one of those things where like as somebody who loves Mario Party so much, right? I have to imagine that there are developers
that also love the old Mario Party. And that's
and
the
that
thing
get it,
for me.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what comes up a lot for me, where it's like whenever we make a video where it's like, yo, you know, it'd be dope, this game. And then they're like, this developer doesn't work on the thing anymore. I'm like, who cares? They own the IP.
Yeah,
so like if you play the game, you know what's good about the game. Like make that. But the fact that I feel like they got the reins to Mario Party, and it's like, we're making Mario Party our thing. And that is the problem. It's like,
well,
they've never been able to leave Mario Party alone, though. Like every single year, it was always another gimmick. They chuck a microphone in with some crappy microphone mini games, and then it would be, you know, the day-night cycle on the next one where the board would change. There was always a gimmick, and like Mario Party 10 took it way too far with that stupid cart thing.
Yeah, and 9 does the same thing. 9 does the same thing. The car is the worst gimmick in Mario Party history, period. I will hear no argument to the contrary.
I've never even played those games because I remember when I like was reading the coverage or seeing, I was like, this is awful. Like this is, you're just removing the core loop of the game.
Exactly.
It's like, what if
you play Monopoly and everybody has the same piece? Everybody plays as the car.
I was
literally
just about to say, like, what if you had a Mario game where it wasn't a platformer, and then I'm just like, oh wait, they did
that's Mario Party.
Well, no, I was gonna say Super Mario Run, but we know how.
True. But yeah, Mario Party, dude. It's semi cool now, but it's at the end of the day, it's still Super Mario Party, so the boards are still sad. Or make me sad,
Mario Party
I guess.
2, guys. Let's do it. You guys.
Let's do it.
I believe.
Ultra Mario Party. Mario Party Ultimate.
Yes. So start naming it like a Capcom game. You just start tacking on, you know.
Super Mario Party Extreme X3 divided by 6 times 4. That's a Square Enix game. That's not a Capcom.
Featuring Dante.
With Cranky Kong. But anyway.
Oh, with funky mode, in the corner.
Not funky mode. Cranky Kong, dude. It's Mario Party. You can't be funky. You got to be cranky because Mario Party sucks now. So, we made a video about, speaking of Mario Party and the glory days of Mario Party, we made a video about N64 games that could see revivals on the Switch because
gotta rep the
Pokemon
brand.
Snap, freaking Perfect Dark, you know?
Yeah,
gotta do it, man.
We're at peak 90s nostalgia.
We're in the time. Exactly, we're in the time. And this was partially inspired by Heavy Hitters, who leaves a comment and says, Excitebike 64 is my favorite racer. The mechanics were the best I've ever felt for any MMX game. To be fair, I've played very few since, but the ones I have still don't have that pristine control I found on Left Field's coding. Something about it, if they can keep the core mechanics and do to it what they have done with Splatoon to the multiplayer, they may have another legit esports title. That would be wild. Freaking Excitebike as an esport. Like, I would have never expected anybody to even suggest that.
You know, it's funny. We were talking about games that would be good for like the 9-9 treatment after Pac-Man. I didn't think about it at the time, but Excitebike 9-9 could be really sick, actually.
Parker brought that up in the script.
That could be really cool.
I feel like Excitebike 64 is a game much bigger than the hardware it was made for. This goes for Perfect Dark, Diddy Kong Racing, and Jet Force Gemini 2. I focus on these games because I can see what the devs were striving for: enormous, massive environments that could both help or harm the player depending on performance. By the way, I've said Rocket League is only missing one thing: bikes. Entity snowboarding, I'm sure they will make their investors happy. If they wanted them very happy, they would bring the game to Switch and other platformers, especially to Switch. Tony Hawk saw that easily. Thank you for the shout out. Prayer emoji, heart. And it's Tricky Ricky Stearns with the whole shot. I don't get the stems. No, Stearns. I don't get that reference.
Me neither.
I don't get it. But thanks for commenting. Thanks for inspiring Parker to write the script for this video. Jet Force Gemini especially, I think, is one of those games where like it is bad now because of the time it was designed in, and it
Yeah.
was like they didn't really have the tools.
It was
to,
great
like,
at the time, though.
yeah, at the time it was great, but now it's bad.
Yeah.
Like
It didn't.
I feel the same about every collectathon from the N64 era. To be honest, I just
how
don't
dare you,
find
Banjo
any of
Kazooie
those
is
I was gonna say,
fantastic.
I do think Banjo-Kazooie holds up pretty well,
Yeah,
especially if
yeah,
you
yeah,
play it on Xbox with
Yep.
better controls.
Is Jet Force Gemini on the Xbox replay?
Yes,
replay?
it's still bad. It's
It
still
is,
bad
yeah.
on Rare Replay. It's still not great.
Jet Force Gemini is a game that I would love to see get the perfect dark. Well, assuming
Blessing would lose his mind.
would lose his mind, yeah.
He would lose his mind.
Assuming that Perfect Dark remake comes out and is good, I would love to see Jet Force Gemini get that treatment, because I think that Jet Force Gemini, like, for all of its flaws, of which there are many,
Yes. Most of them are owed to things that are very easy to fix. It's like the Kid Icarus Uprising thing. They could literally port Kid Icarus Uprising to Switch and make it a Switch game, and it would be dope. Like, that's literally all they have to do. Jet Force Gemini is similar. It's like make the controls more modern.
Yeah. But I think even, like, aside from that, like, the world building that they did was really good. Like, the cast of characters, I don't remember their names, but I remember their designs.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the enemies clear as day. I remember the some of the environments really well, because it was such a cool, well-designed world, and it had a little bit of that, like, early 2000s, like, edge kind of to it, but it was also had that cutesy Rare charm, and, like, there are not enough games that are brave enough to toe that line of, like, it can be dark and serious but also have a sense of humor, and, like,
like Zelda. Zelda is a perfect example of that.
You can see how it would translate really well, I think, to, like, the modern age if you got the right developer on it, to, like, somebody who can make a good third-person action game. You build out all those characters to have really unique move sets. Like, I think there's a lot there.
I'm so surprised that Microsoft specifically has not jumped on that, because, like, their whole thing, and they're acknowledging it now, like, their whole problem is, like, they don't really have IP. Like, they have that matter. Like, the thing is, like, you don't need that many, you just need a few that matter, and Nintendo's demonstrating that because they have 5,000 and they use 4. Like, so like, it just trips me out that Microsoft isn't always making Perfect Dark games, isn't always making Jet Force Gemini games, isn't always making Banjo-Kazooie games. Even now, there's a huge question mark. Are we going to get a Banjo-Kazooie game? Like, after freaking Smash, like, why is that not a foregone conclusion? Why are we not like, this is definitely happening?
I genuinely think that they are probably thinking about a lot of those things, but I think that, like, if you think about the state of Xbox's kind of stable of studios, like, in the last 2 or 3 years, they've bought, like, 20 studios, like, and that's not even a joke. Like, before that, they had a pretty small stable. So, like, they owned some IP that people cared about, but I don't think they had the studios there to put them together. And it's
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised that they haven't done this specifically, what they're doing now, earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's literally because they had a lack of, like, strong leadership, and that Phil Spencer has been, I mean, he's a visionary. Like, he's
maybe Phil Spencer is literally walked into the board meeting and said exactly what I said. He's like, yo, we have freaking Banjo-Kazooie, what are we doing?
We're just leaving money on the table. And
that's my least favorite comment, but do we hate money? Like,
I truly think that he is somebody who gets it. And he gets that games are about legacy, and that, like, nostalgia is a very powerful thing in the world of games, and that if you take an IP,
entertainment, period.
Yeah, sure. But I think what's great about it in video games is that, like, a lot of times stuff that would be, like, bad nostalgia bait in other mediums are actually good in video games.
Yeah.
Like, God of War 2018 is a thing that, like, you could imagine, like, a bad edgelordy movie of, like, we're going to take this dumb fun thing and make it serious. Only in video games, it's actually good. Usually.
But a lot of times that happens in video games too. I think you just need, like, in video games, you need a Phil Spencer, and in movies, you need a Kevin Feige. Like, that is just the thing. It's like who's behind.
You need an
bringing this?
architect. You need somebody who can be the visionary to be like, okay, we need to take the right creative people, give them the reins, and then leave them alone.
Yep. Exactly. So next comment. Wyatt Merrill says, N64 games have so much potential. It blows my mind that Nintendo hasn't made them available on Switch yet. I'm not really surprised by that, especially if this is like the route that they want to take. If the route they want to take is new Pokemon Snaps, which who knows at this point, I'm not surprised at all if they're like, nah, we're not doing Virtual Console. Because like,
I think they're going to do more of those limited releases as well. They're going to package those up and sell them for $60 a piece. You know, we're going to get the Zelda one this year. We're probably going to get the Metroid collection, which we know exists and is going to happen.
Yeah,
they're just going to keep doing it with all of the games that they have in their like back catalog.
Yeah, I think
which
the industry
that's like it's kind of weird that it seems like people think that this is a new practice. Literally every time they do an anniversary game like this, that's what they did.
I know, yeah. Pete's
digital
digital
releases
the whole time.
Yeah, because it's true. It's like they did it with the Mario anniversary, but there were no digital games at that point other than the Wii Virtual Console. Like they weren't going to put it on that. And then they did it again with Kirby. There was no virtual storefront. Now there's a digital storefront, and people are like, "But you know, Pikachu shocked meme." Like,
yeah,
to be fair,
right, and I think the industry has realized that the way to make money on retro games is through events or through remakes or like collections, and like those things are more lucrative than a virtual console, and I think that's why
because
the
analyst, there was like an analyst that said that the reason why Nintendo voiced to them or whatever that they do limited releases like that is because people don't buy them. Like
they work.
So many people just want the comfort of the game being there. It's like, yo, I really want N64 games to come to Switch, and then N64 games come to Switch. The day that they drop, you play them for 10 hours, and then you never touch them again. Yeah. Like that's what happened with Super Nintendo. Like everybody was like, oh, I can't believe they delayed Super Nintendo games. What am I going to play on my Switch now? And then they drop Super Nintendo games. We played them for a day, maybe a week, and never touched them again.
No, yeah, that's exactly the same. And we were discussing last week about how the PlayStation like reverted their decision, and it's like we had that same point. Was like, who's actually wants to go back and play these games unless it's for like a 1 hour, 2 hour nostalgia trip, and then you're just done with it.
Yeah, it's like the thing is like they're right, but it's like the sort of thing where it's like you can't say that because then them being like, oh, we're taking this away, makes you want to have that nostalgia then. So it's like you feel like you're losing something when you know that they're taking it. Rather than it being something that you actively care about all the time anyway.
Yeah,
and of course there's go ahead, Pete.
It's a tough line to toe because like I made that argument, right, of like at the end of the day it's business, right? Like Nintendo, PlayStation, these are multi-million-dollar companies. They don't care about your feelings. They don't you know, they maybe care a little bit about art, but really what they care about is making money and making sure they're all around again and everybody has a job. And takes home their salaries, right? And like I get that struggle of like, well, no one uses this service anymore. No one's buying PSP games or Vita games that much. So we don't like, it's not prudent to keep this up. And we all freak out because that's the right thing to do because game preservation is important. And Sony and Nintendo, they don't care about that. They don't care. If it's
they don't see, but that's the thing, though. I think they don't care because people don't care. Like if people demonstrated that they actually care about that, and there wasn't like 12 people that's like super beating that drum, game preservation would be important to them. But because most people just let those games sit and servers aren't free, they're like, well, why are we paying to keep these games up when nobody's playing them?
And I think that is fair, right? And I think that like ultimately the place where I come down on it in terms of their responsibility, right, is that I do think that if you have games, like there are so many games that are on the PlayStation 3 or Vita marketplaces or whatever that are not Sony games, but that Sony bought a vested interest in them. So they're only available on that platform. Yeah. And like if the store goes down, like they're gone unless the people, you know, the gamers go and preserve it. Right. And like, to your point, if people cared about it in a material dollars and cents kind of way, we wouldn't really have this problem.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's a real dangerous attitude to operate about when you're talking about the preservation of art, because you don't realize that it's important to preserve things until they're gone, right? And I do think that I wish that these companies that are studios or you know, publishers with legacy like this recognize that, hey, like, you know, yeah, maybe this isn't the most financially important thing, but that for the health of the medium, for the legacy of our brand, for the legacy of, you know, what we as PlayStation are, we as Nintendo are, that our history matters, and that, like, it's our job.
I think that, like, that with Nintendo specifically, that's a hard argument to, like, kind of say, like, to say that they don't care about that, because I think if anybody cares about their legacy, it's definitely Nintendo. But they care about it in the way that they can monetize it, because like
they care about the ones that make the money, but like, you know, the games that they've forgotten about.
They care about the ones that we show that we care about.
Yeah.
If people show it out and we're like, actually, like, Virtual Console was a thing for so long, you really think if Virtual Console was making the money that, like, the value that people place on it now that it's gone, if it was making that much money, that they would take it down?
Sure. Right.
I am positive that people bought freaking Super Mario Brothers for the 12th time, and that's it. Like, most people on, like, and I would say even, like, we're the exception in that. Like, people that see that, like, I can see why they did this. Like, I have at least 20 Virtual Console games, if not more than that. But I think most people buy the ones that they always buy, and then they don't even play those.
Yeah, and I think that I think that's fair to say, but I also think that you can make an argument that, like, they don't always do that either, because, like, I mean, it happened earlier today, and it was a meme, right? About Mother 3 coming back up again.
Yeah.
But, like, Mother as a franchise, like, literally there is an outcry in the West of, like, port these games here. We want to play them. We want a collection. We want whatever. And Nintendo,
but I think that that's different, though. I think that's less.
Stuff.
I think that's less game preservation and more, we never got this game, I want the new game that the Smash Brothers boy is in. Like, I think it's more because, like, Mother 3 has become this cultural icon.
Sure.
Because it's not something that we have, not something that we had, fell in love with, and don't have anymore, or there's a threat that we won't have anymore. We just never had it.
Well, we had Earthbound. And Earthbound.
Yeah, we had Earthbound, but we didn't have Mother 3.
And, like, literally, though, like, think about it. Like, right now, though, there's no way to buy Earthbound right now. Like,
on 3DS.
Yeah, on your 3DS, which is obsolete tech.
And, like, when
but you could easily get a 3DS.
But we were trying to stream Ocarina of Time because we're doing a series over on Twitch, and the literal easiest way for us to do it was to emulate it, because we could not get it on Switch. Neither of us have a Wii U. We weren't about to plug, like, CRT composite cables into some dodgy adapter to, like, plug into HDMI so we could get it in a capture card.
And that's actually the thing. I have a Wii U, but the store's down.
So you can't even get it anymore.
I can't get Ocarina on it. I don't have it, so I'm fucked. You know, and it's like, and that's
Rip, you did it. You did it.
No, it was so good.
Did
it. So good. Darn. Man, I even said crud before instead of crap. I was, like, on it.
Yeah, man.
My bad.
It's fine. I'm not editing it, but as long as it's one, we should be fine.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's the PG-13 rules, right? We get
exactly.
I just used it.
Exactly. You used it.
Thanks,
so
Pete. I wanted to use that.
I wanted to do that.
Oh, man, that's so funny. I was on a roll there. I totally forgot. But
yeah, I agree. I think that, like, I would love for them to put every game they ever made on here. I just understand why they don't. And I think that, like, if people want that, they do a bad job of showing that they want that.
Fair enough, but, like, to some extent, it's like, yes, you've already made the emulator. It already exists. How difficult is it for you to put a ROM that's like 2 megabytes up on your server somewhere and let us pay for it?
Yeah, but they made the emulator during COVID. So, like, we don't even know that whether they're doing that, you know, like, possibly, whether we're going
but
to.
There's still tons of games that aren't on the NES, on the SNES. There's, like, all of those that they could put up. And if
Earthbound.
they can't be on
Are there? Like, I mean, well, SNES
all the ones
definitely,
I
but
want
NES,
Chrono
I don't know.
Trigger.
I don't know any NES game that matters that is not
Oh,
on.
I mean,
Any NES game I don't care about because they're too old and I just won't play
Yeah.
them. But I want Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG, and I want all of those games.
Well, I
that
don't know if that's a
aren't on there.
Nintendo problem. You might have to
that's-
talk to Square Enix for that.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a worthwhile thing I wanted to bring up too, where I think that's a big reason why Virtual Console went away too, is that back when Virtual Console was new, like nobody else was selling retro games. So like for Square to be like, yeah, whatever, Nintendo, put our games up and we'll, whatever cut we get, doesn't matter. They're collecting dust otherwise.
And now they're like, wait, we can package 2 of these for $60.
Yeah, or or like some people do a better job of it. Like you look at Capcom, right? It's like, well, is it better for them to sell the Mega Man games a la carte, or should they sell the Mega Man Legacy Collection? That's a nicer package and a nicer version, and it's actually a better value for you as a consumer, but you can't get them a la carte, and it does lead to that. And I would love to see Nintendo do that.
I mean, even then, like there's a lot of times that the value is better, but people get mad at it because of the idea of like, oh, this took this much work, or this could be this much better because other people like the 3D All-Star collection. You are not going to find all 3 of those games for $60. You're not going to do it. It's not happening.
Yeah, true. And I also think the one company I think that's doing it the best on the eShop is Sega with their Sega Ages collection.
Oh my god, yeah.
They're killing it with that. Like you can get the Mega Drive collection as like all of them, but if you want like the updated, the remastered ones, the Sega Ages collection is the way to go.
And those are super cool because like those are like amazing if you're talking about game preservation. Like I remember when they put out the Sonic one, we talked about it like years ago now on the podcast, and it was like it's every version of Sonic the Hedgehog, I think. It was like, oh, it's the 8-bit version, and there's the arcade version.
And a lot of times with Sega will do in that is they'll put like historical things in there where it's like, here's the comic covers for the Sonic games that came out. I mean, for the Sonic comics that came out during this year. It's like,
or here's like all the concept art from the game, or like, here's like design documents, like, and those things are really cool. Yeah. Those things are like worth the price, like, it's like, it feels like you're like, you have like a little like museum featurette, I love that stuff.
It's true. Instinct Lab says a Pokemon Stadium game would be a huge ripoff. With mainline games having console graphics, a stadium game would basically just be a Frontier sold separately for $60. And then, to contrast that, Pat Green said, I'd really like to have something as grand as Pokemon Stadium done modern. So what do we think? Where do we land on this?
What's the difference between Pokemon Stadium and Pokken Tournament? Because like
Pokken Tournament is a fighting game. Pokemon Stadium is a Pokemon battle simulator where it's like it's the same battle system as the RPGs, but it's just
so it's like Pokemon
in 3D
Showdown.
and pretty and
yeah. It's like
it's like 3D
Pokemon,
and pretty.
Yeah, but with also like with more bells and whistles because like
they have the mini games and then it's like the boss rush modes, and I think that is why it's worth having a Pokemon Stadium game because the mini games, because it's like battling with your friends, just any like friend that's like, I don't play Pokemon, but I like Pokemon, I'll battle you. I don't want to have to be like, all right, let's EV train and IV train you a team.
Like I'm telling you, if this comes back, that's a mobile game, and you're gonna have to like gacha the hell out of it in order to get anywhere and train up your Pokemon.
That's
in
the
order
thing,
to battle it.
I doubt it.
I definitely disagree. Like I'm way aligned with you and Pat on this one, AJ, where like I don't think that it's hard to imagine how you make a $60 Pokemon Stadium 3 or whatever that is worth
Pokemon Snap. Hello?
Yeah, I mean, literally, right?
Like if any game, I would actually hear somebody say, how could you make a $60 Pokemon Snap in 2021 or whatever? I would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But Pokemon Stadium is a very easy game to make worth $60.
Yeah. I mean, like seriously, like because to me, right, like when you think back on what was special about Pokemon Stadium, it was that you could see the Pokemon in 3D and everything. Don't get me wrong. But like you said, it was having the bank. It was having Pokemon with optimized stats and move sets already made.
Pokemon, it's the Mario Maker equivalent of Pokemon games.
Yeah. But also, I think even more than that, the thing that like I always liked was it was the game. It was the boss rush stuff because the AI on those trainers was way harder than the main games. So
exactly. And that's stuff that you can do. And this is another thing that I talk about all the time in videos for Pokemon, where it's like Pokemon is so vast that they could easily develop the mainline games on like a TikTok sort of system, where it's like Pokemon, the mainline game comes out, great. Pokemon Stadium comes out, it improves on the battle system implemented in the mainline game in these ways or whatever. Pokemon Snap comes out, it makes the game look better. The next mainline Pokemon comes out, it implements all the stuff that they've done in those other side games. Pokemon Stadium could even be like an archival thing, because it's very obvious that Pokemon Company is ready to move past how Pokemon has played for the past 20 years, but people would have a meltdown if they're like, all right, we're done with this battle system, we need a new one. But if Pokemon Stadium is a thing, they could very easily be like, all right, the old battle systems in that, the new battle systems in that, this will experiment with the Legends Arceus games or even the mainline games and do it like that.
And I think even if you don't get rid of, like, even if you accept the idea, right, that like mainline Pokemon games will always be turn-based battle, like that is what Pokemon is, right? The last generation shows that it's becoming a real technical challenge to have a national dex in every game. So that could be an answer to that, where like, you know, imagine that Pokemon Stadium was kind of like, AJ, help me with what's the name of the service that succeeded Pokemon Bank?
Pokemon Home?
Yeah. So imagine it was something that like you could tie to Pokemon Home, right? Yeah. Or it was like an alternative to Pokemon Home, where like, okay, I finished Sword and Shield, I upload my team or I copy my team, whatever it is, over to Stadium, and then you can have a metagame that's based around Stadium that is like, that's where real Pokemon players play. That's the showdown.
They could even make Pokemon Stadium a games as a service game if they really wanted to.
I think so. And you make it a platform.
And they could tie it into Pokemon Home. It could be like Pokemon Home Plus or whatever, and it'd be $30 a year to have all your Pokemon stored in the thing, and you get access to Pokemon Stadium. So you can, if whatever new mainline game comes out and it doesn't have the Pokemon, your shiny Ariados or whatever, like you can use it in the Pokemon Stadium client.
And I feel like what you could do there, right, is you could have a team that's dedicated to Stadium that is literally just like, okay, right, we are accepting this idea that there are two kinds of Pokemon players. There's players that want to play serious competitive Pokemon, and there's everybody else. And tailor that game to that crowd and make it a game that is very like, hey, this team, the entire thing that they do is every generation we bring in all the new Pokemon, we balance, we come up with tiers, and we have tournaments, and there are, you know, like the stuff that they were doing in the main game, but like you really lean into it, right? Of like, hey, like this month it's the Kanto Classic, so you can only use Kanto Pokemon, or you know, this season no Ubers, you know, this season
literally Battle Showdown, Pokemon Battle Showdown or whatever.
Pokemon Showdown, and like VGC does that every year. Like they come up with a new thing of like, these are the new rules this year.
And they even like Showdown specifically, like they don't even just do it where it's like you can only do this. It's like they have different cups pretty much, where it's like you can just do Gen 1 Pokemon, like it's just those rules, or monotypes, or you know, like it has like the different, you know, like you were talking about like OU and Ubers and you know all that stuff.
And I feel like you just normalize that stuff, like just like just lean into the, like that already is a thing. That's a huge part of how people play Pokemon. And like when you think about the fact that like there are a lot of people who've been playing Pokemon for like 20 years or whatever and like don't know what VGC is stupid. Why do you hide it? Like, and I get not wanting to put it in the main games because that's for a worldwide audience.
They did it with Pokemon Sword and Shield, and everybody, like all the casual people that they're trying to get in, are pissed about it.
Yeah, so it's like just let it be two different things. And the Stadium brand has juice. People would be
Yeah,
like,
it has
"Stadium."
clout.
Oh my god, yeah, and let it be something new.
Yeah, and also mini games.
And right, and Mario Party sucks right now. So like,
Yes.
those mini games rule. Like the mini games
Yes.
in the first 2 Pokemon Stadium are all great. Like, let's do it, man.
It's true. Pokemon Stadium. You know what? Make Pokemon Stadium come out and charge $100. I've sold myself.
Hashtag Pokemon Stadium 3 for $120. Let's go.
Okay. Muji says GoldenEye would be the toughest out of all of these with all the licenses, but if it could happen and it comes to Xbox, Game Pass, PC, and Switch, that'd be awesome.
No, that wouldn't be awesome. You don't want that. What you want is to remember how much you liked playing GoldenEye when it was contemporary, because I promise you, it does not hold up.
I said in the video, I was like, this game's not great now, but they could, hey, if they modernize it, maybe it could be cool. But
I loved GoldenEye. Like,
it controls like garbage now. It's so bad.
Come on,
it's so bad.
Do you really want to stand still and use C buttons to turn your head? Like,
I do really want to try it. And did either of you ever do it? The two controller
thing.
Always wanted to
I
try
did it
and
once.
never did it.
It still feels. I mean, obviously, as you'd expect, it still feels like garbage.
Yeah.
Arguably, it feels worse. But yeah, that was that video. We also made a video highlighting 14 games that are coming out next month that are pretty cool. And Zach Gray commented and said, very, very valet. Looks like a good time. Looking forward to reviews on that as well as World's End Club. Something to tie me over until 2021's Game of the Year comes out, Mario Golf.
Man, shout out to Mario Golf. I'm really excited about that one, dude.
Yoshi is the Mario Golf speed golf MVP or rush golf or whatever it's called. He's freaking booking it, dude. Like this man,
liking it down.
This man Yoshi put his all into running.
Yoshi is a real athlete.
Yo, this man, he was training for years for this.
I just can't look at him the same after playing Mario Sunshine and seeing him vomit everywhere. It's just not nice.
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
I can't look at Yoshi the same because he's toxic in Smash Brothers. But anyway, Ian Pittman says, King of Seas looks pretty cool, actually. Reminds me of the Sail Forth game that was announced like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I remember that Ubisoft, like...
Yeah, freaking Skull. That's the thing that I was thinking about when he said,
what was that called?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, yeah.
That's what it was. Non-existent.
Yep.
Man,
Good.
I was so bummed out when they announced that game because I remember I was like, all right, like, are we getting like Black Flag but without the assassin? It's multiplayer now. Like, can I just get a single player pirate game? Like, Sea of Thieves is great and everything, but
so me and Bob, we usually stream those. Bob Wolf from the Wolf Den, for people that don't know, if you're not on the Nintendo Switch internet. But anyway, we were streaming that presentation where they announced it, and we both were like, oh my God, I hate everything about this, because that was like the part of the video game that we didn't like. Like that, it's like the inverse from the popular opinion for sure. Like, but the freaking pirate segments of the Assassin's Creed games are like, oh my God. And me.
That's
like,
so funny.
So when I saw that game, I was like, nope, I don't care about this. So it's like, I only remember that it's a thing when people say like, oh man, I remember when they announced that and it disappeared. I'm like, oh yeah, good for them. Good for them that they that they realized that that game sucks. No, I'm joking. But Sail Forth, I don't know what that is. King of Seas, nah. I'm just not into pirates. I had fun with Sea of Thieves because it was funny.
That game is so fun.
I just like playing the music with people in that game. That's like my favorite thing to do, is just to play the shanties.
I didn't even experience that, but the first time I played that, we just freaking got drunk and threw our vomit. It was like,
that's good fun. We like putting people in jail and then just burning the ships.
Yeah, burn the ship down and sink it while they're still on it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't engage with the the actual like capture ships and I did none of that. I just did the debauchery.
I think it's just fun to screw around. Like that's the thing, you know. It's like like getting in the ship fights and everything is fun, but it's also just like, who cares? Like let's just sail around until we die. Like
exactly. I had a lot of fun with that. Cool said, this video made me realize that I'm not a shark. No wonder I can't breathe. Great recommendations, even though you shattered my whole existence. Parker wrote in a bit about Man-Eater. Man-Eater?
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's called Man-Eater. Yeah, he wrote a bit about how you get to be a shark and you always were a shark, but you never knew, but now you know. Also, Heritage him says, I am a shark. Sharky Shark, the name. Trying with find is hard.
Typing with Finn.
Oh, oh yeah, that's why. That was my fault. Typing with find is hard, and he meant Finn, but he's a shark, so he typed find by
so
accident.
typos.
It's true. It's accurate. This man's speaking facts. Sunny Bananas, not related to the video, but I just realized the amount of subs plus views these videos have, and I'm surprised. I always assumed they were way up there with the big guys. AJ and Parker are some of my favorite Switch-related creators, and I can't wait to see them grow. Like, comment, subscribe, share with friends, so on and so forth.
Only you can get more views for us.
Literally. Literally? That's a fact.
Here's what you do, everybody. Put on the video and then just loop it. Just rack up the views.
No, you just got to comment. That's the meta. Leave a comment.
That's the
and
meta.
I'm being so serious. You got to comment and not like, because unless it's like a lot of comments, the comment where it's like leaving a comment doesn't really do anything. The algorithm is paying attention to that. It's like
engagement.
They want quality engagement. They want to know that people is like, oh, okay, this video is about Mario, so type something about the content of the video, and that is what pushes videos forward. It's not even just watch minutes anymore. It's like YouTube's stupid.
Don't say that. They'll hear it.
Do what you gotta do. I don't care. On this channel, I don't care. Like, we just do directly to you for fun. But on fanatixfour, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell friends. But now we're on to Q&A. We posted on community tab and asked about whether people are going to get Pokemon Snap or not. Corey D chimes in and says, just picked mines up from Walmart. Incoherent Fool said, I personally am not buying, as I don't like the direction the franchise is taking recently with all the open world games. I like the RPGs, and I'm holding out for the Gen 4 remakes.
Okay, that's odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
not made by the same.
Pokemon Snap is a 20-year-old game, so I don't know about it being a recent direction that they're taking.
Yeah, well, I feel like what they're saying is they're like, I don't like the direction of the franchise overall recently, so I'm not buying Snap as like a statement, which is like fine, I guess. Like, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like
he said he's holding out for the Gen 4 remakes,
right? So it's like, what are you talking about?
So you're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. If you want the game, buy the game. It's fine.
Yeah, if you want the game, buy the game. If you don't.
That's cool too.
Pharaoh King says, I work at Walmart and they always knock off $12. So, why not pick it up when I get off?
That's
LOL.
not bad.
That is Walmart. If like me, I don't want to deal with the whole, we were talking about changing cartridges and stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I'll pay the 20 extra bucks or whatever just to have it digitally. Like
I'm getting $12 off. I might go for it, but
but you do get $12. Freaking Walmart, like the new Switch games are usually like 50 bucks.
At Walmart, really?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Damn, all right.
Oh, you just convinced me to go physical.
I'm about to go back to physical. You kidding me?
I used to, like, at the beginning of the generation, or the beginning of Switch's life, I guess. I got a lot of physical games because Amazon had the whole thing where it's like they knock 20% off if you have Prime, but they don't do it anymore. So not even just that. If you bought it within the first week or something like that, I think it was.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's 20% off. But once they stopped doing that, I was like, I have literally no reason to do this anymore. I just want the convenience of downloading it and calling it a day. But yeah, that's a thing. Max Hohenderdos. I don't know how to say that.
Hohenderdos, maybe. I don't know.
Let me know in the comments. 60, is this euros? This is euros,
that's
right?
Euros.
That's euros.
60 euros. I always get the confused with pounds. 60 euros is way too much for this one. Is it 60 euros?
It's 50 euros.
That was 50.
No, it's £50, so it probably is 60
really?
euros.
Oh, you hate to see it, dude.
Sorry, sorry, your country's dollar isn't stronger, so you could get it. Like those UK gamers.
I moved to the UK, dude.
Hey,
It's across
pour
the
one
street.
out for them. They're paying like 90 euros for a PS5.
Yeah,
game,
no,
but it's like
that's-
ridiculous.
straight up
Yeah,
sucks.
oof. Yeah, that's an oof. Captain F. I'm not saying his name because I know what he wants me to say. I personally just don't understand the hype. Is it nostalgia? I just can't see myself playing a rail game where you just take pictures and that's it. We talked about this, but no. It's
I
not.
mean, it's both. I think it's
yes.
nostalgia and it's actually a gameplay. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
the same thing when people are like, I don't know why people play walking sims. It's because they like them. And if you don't, that's fine. Play what you like.
I just push back against the nostalgia thing because I'm very not like that. I like Pokemon, but it's not really tied to nostalgia for me. It's just like I like the world and the world is cool. I will readily admit, like Gen 1 games, garbage. Gen 2 games, borderline garbage. Like there's so many games from my childhood that I know are garbage.
Wrong.
It's facts. It's
Not
facts. The
facts.
games don't even work. They don't even work.
That's ridiculous. That's absolute nonsense.
It's
Get outta here.
true. Play it.
I did. I played it
I played Gen 1 right before Pokemon Let's Go came out. I was like, yeah, this game sucks, dude.
I just played it. Every time I
but
replay
the whole time you were playing it, you were making excuses. You're like, yeah, I used a
No.
freaking ghost type attack on a psychic
outta here.
Pokemon, but it's a product of its time and all that nonsense.
No.
It's
No.
trash.
No, that's not even. Look, man, I was so
Fire
proud.
Red is
We almost
sick.
made it- we almost
Fire
made it
Red is sick.
We-
Gen 1, garbage.
We almost
Crash
made it through a
Bandicoot,
whole
trash.
We almost made it through a whole
Whoa.
episode without this argument. All right. All right. How are you gonna just come at me like that? Unbelievable.
I was just underscoring the point that it's like I couldn't get an F about nostalgia. It's Pokemon's cool.
And
There's
that's
some bad
fine.
eggs, but
I'm saying though, I think there are a lot of folks for which nostalgia is absolutely a contributing factor.
yeah.
But my whole
But
thing
I don't
is-
think that is the reason why this game is worth it.
I agree with
I think it might be the reason for them, but
Sure,
I think even people that have never played a Pokemon game before, I think Pokemon Snap is a good game to buy.
I agree with that. My whole I think like point there is that like that's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
Like I think
Yeah.
like there are a lot of people who like act like liking
nostalgia's
something.
a crutch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, that makes it invalid as like a piece of art or something. It's like, well, no, if you enjoyed it, that's what's important, right? Like
Mhm.
the Super Mario collection was all about nostalgia. It's nostalgia bait. But
Yeah.
do you like the
And
games?
it's like it's also a weird argument that nostalgia is a crutch, at least for me, because like when I like something, my expectations are higher. It's not the other way
Yes,
around. It's not like, oh, I like this thing, so I'm gonna like make excuses for it. It's like, no, if I like this thing and you made the thing that I like worse, I'm not
care
gonna be
more.
happy about it. Like, so I never got that where it's like nostalgia goggles. It's like, nah, dude, come on.
Mm-mm.
Think. No offense, Captain. Falcon on Twitter. We're on Twitter questions now. How likely is it that we'd see a revival in the Pokemon's Stadium series? With the mainline Pokemans finally making the jump to home console, is Pokemon Stadium redundant? No. We already broke that down.
Yeah, I don't think it's redundant. We broke that down, but I also don't think it's likely that it'll come back.
Yeah.
I would love something like this on mobile. I really do think I would love to just be able to open my phone and just do a battle on my mobile and not have to deal
Yeah,
with
Pokemon Showdown.
all of the. Is it on mobile? Pokemon Showdown?
Yes. Yep. It is.
Oh,
It is.
I should probably just
You
get
know
that
that
then.
you know that like thing that's been making the rounds the last couple of years where like there's the apps that you can download directly from a website, not through the app store.
Yeah.
They have
Mhm.
one of those set up and it's awesome. I
Okay.
use it like every day.
It's very cool. It's very cool. Pokemon Showdown is sick. But also, yeah, no. And like for stuff like this, I can't say it's unlikely because I think people would have said freaking Super Mario Party getting online multiplayer is unlikely.
Yeah, I wrote that.
But
on
New
page
Pokemon
here
six.
we
Snap was
are.
unlikely.
Exactly. So it's like it's not, you know, it's like that's the thing. It's like we don't know what's unlikely.
Nothing
It-
stays dead in video games. That's all I've learned.
Exactly.
Everything
Exactly.
new, everything old will be new again.
Even
Apart
the
from
stuff that
Metroid
people
games,
try to
that's
they're like the developers said themselves they would never return to my like biggest pet peeve is when people say Sakurai said. It's like this man tells us lies all the time blatantly.
It's It's also not like a game has ever switched developers before, right? Like,
exactly.
franchises have never been developed by more than one studio.
Yeah, it's like Shigesato Itoi doesn't want to make Mother anymore. It's like, oh well, guess we can't have that anymore. It's like
my dude is like 70. Like, let him die.
Oh my god, that's messed up.
I didn't mean it like that. Like, I just mean leave him alone.
Pivoting from that, good friend of the show, Sierra Plus Ultra said, "Who carried who the most in Super Mario 3D World?" How dare you?
I think
it was the bubbles. The bubbles carried all. But
yeah, how dare you? The online carried us to our death.
When I learned how to bubble up, I was like all on the bubble. Just let it run.
It's true. I had to yeet, dude, because I was told. Okay, actual serious question though. What are the quote actual odds, in your opinions, of Nintendo doing another reimagining of an older Pokemon title, similarly to Pokemon Snap? We just talked about that. Where it's like I don't think that there's concrete odds. I think that it's probably growing in likelihood depending on how new Pokemon Snap does. Like if new Pokemon Snap sells freaking 20 million units, we're getting new Pokemon Stadium. Mark my words.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I think that I think the odds are probably really high for something else, but I think that how imminent it is or how many of them we get is going to be directly related to the performance of Snap. If Snap is a gangbuster, if it's even like a above average success,
if it sells more than Pokemon Let's Go,
yeah. They'll I think even like, I mean, depends, right? We don't know how much it costs to make. If the overall budget was like a good amount less than a normal Pokemon game and it made, even if it sells half the copies, like that's maybe enough of a profit margin to be like, let's do that again.
Mm-hmm. Especially since like they're not the one. They're not the one that's making it. Yeah, I'm down. They're not the ones that made it. So also that
Bandai Namco.
Namco. Nintendo needs to buy Bandai Namco, dude. Like, just freaking rip the Band-Aid off and sell off their IP. Even if you had to sell off their IP.
No, make Tekken exclusive. Are you kidding me? That'd be crazy.
No, people would hate that. And people would hate that.
People would lose it.
The only place to play Pac-Man ever again is on
Yes.
Nintendo.
See, but that's the thing. If that was the case, that IP, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But it's like there's certain IP that just are like intrinsically tied to being multi-platform that people would lose their minds, and I don't think Pac-Man's one of those. Like people aren't mad about Pac-Man 99. Parker, I don't know. Parker deal. Anybody ever hear of Parker before? Anyway, Parker, a TV show exec came to you and said, quote, "You can play any kind of character on any show, any kind of show. You name it, we'll make it. What would it be?" This is a you guys question. I don't watch television. Oh, no, I'm lying. I've been watching freaking the MCU stuff and Invincible. Invincible is lit.
Yes, it is. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yo, matter of fact, we're going to do what me and Parker have been doing every once in a while and talk about that at the end of the show for a little bit.
That's awesome, man. It's like my favorite comic. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see behind me. Actually, I got my Invincible statue right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'll say? This is like maybe like a cop-out answer because everybody, I love comic books and superheroes and shit, and I host a comic book show.
You did it again. You did it again.
No, so close. Landing the plane too. Sorry. I think I would be a superhero because part of the like mandatory, setup for that is to get incredibly fit, and they pay you to do that, get you all these nutritionists.
Oh yeah, true. Like if you're okay, you're thinking it like like it's that you're the actor that isn't
that the question?
That's a strat. You can play any kind of.
You're playing any kind
of.
You're
character. Playing the character.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, make me whoever. I don't even need to be. Like whatever. I could be a supporting player. I don't care. But yeah, like give me that network TV money to get just cut.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. You kidding me?
Yep.
Chris Pratt, let's go.
I'm down.
Show me the absolute hunk.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm with Pete.
I would just really want to play some nasty piece of crap. That's what I just really want to do. Just be horrible. Just awful.
I can't even imagine that because you're such a nice person.
Yeah,
that's why I want to do it, Just like totally out of character, just be awful.
Yeah, no, I can't. The only way I can imagine that is if it was an animated television show, and then I
I
can
want
see
to
that.
see Steve as
I can like
a
imagine
drug lord.
your voice being mean. That's
Well, that's
I
what I
can-
want to
I
be
can
like.
picture it.
Like a Breaking Bad scenario. It's like
Yeah, I
this
can't
guy gone
picture
bad.
it. Yeah, I can't picture it. If it's a live action thing, I wouldn't believe it. I'm like, this is fake. but
Steve's baby
animated,
face.
animated, I could see it. I could see it. Which Pokemon is the most photogenic? I can tell you what Pokemon I hate the most in new Pokemon Snap so far. Beautifly. Beautifly can burn in a fire. Because this show, they're like, Beautifly is an attention whore. I'm sorry. It's like, I don't know how else to phrase it. Because there's multiple in the area that Beautifly is in. There's multiple of them, and they fly directly in the camera where it's like, take a picture of me. Me. I'm Beautifly, dude. It's the worst. I hate it.
Across the board, like it's tough.
Like
I think,
just
like,
in the show, like
yeah,
Pikachu.
like if we're talking like lore wise, like which
Yeah,
Pokemon
Pikachu.
I think I would probably think it would either be a super cute Pokemon like that in the way that like everyone's pets have Instagrams, but I'm also thinking of like the legendaries. Like Articuno is a Pokemon I think of as being very majestic and beautiful, and like
Yeah, but they're not photogenic, dude. I mean, yeah, never mind. I retract my statement. I was going to say they're like always like you always got to get the candid shot, but they still look dope though. So that's that's photogenic. Yeah,
yeah,
good point. That's true. I still say Pikachu, but yeah, legendary would be a solid answer.
Squirtle, but only with the Squirtle Squad glasses, because that's just a vibe.
Yeah, put the Squirtle Squad glasses in Smash Brothers. Just do it.
Let me buy a pair. That's what I want.
Exactly. I'll give you $3 right now to let me be Squirtle Squad Squirtle. Discord questions. Mega Man says, Pete and Steve, what's your view on pairs? Pete, did we do this with you?
We did this the first time I came on the show.
You've never been on the show before. It never happened.
Right, I forgot. Yeah, no, we're on the show right. I'm on the show for the first time right now. So
it's true.
Yes, we are doing it.
It's true with pairs.
Yeah, I like pairs. Pairs are good.
Yeah. Do you theoretically like pairs?
Theoretically, I do like pairs.
I adore pairs.
Theoretically,
I guess maybe so. Like I've realized
it's so stupid. It's dumb. Parker, you're an idiot.
I prefer the flavor of pear to an actual pear. Like if something tastes like pears, like pear candy or pear juice.
Yeah, but pear candy and pear juice doesn't taste like pears. It's like watermelon, but less exaggerated.
Or like banana flavor, which tastes nothing like bananas ever.
Yeah, but I think banana flavor is on the polar opposite of watermelon, where I think watermelon flavor stuff is way better than watermelon.
Yes.
But banana flavor stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Okay.
And
glad we sorted that.
Yes. Sardi says something that's stupid and he should feel bad. Why is Monster Hunter the better Pokemon Snap? But also, which mon are you hoping to get the greatest shot with? Charizard, dude. Duh.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is not better than Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're stupid and you should feel bad. You and
there
Parker
you go.
both dumb. Both of you.
Boom. Shut down. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get some great shots of my favorite Pokemon Blastoise. Not gonna say no to that.
Yeah, but he's in the game, so it's not going to be hype. It's not going to be hype when you take a picture because we already know he's there.
But the question is, who you hoping to get the greatest shot with? So that's what I want the best shot of.
You're gonna print it out, frame it, in a little heart-shaped frame.
You know what I might do, Steve, is because
put it in a locket.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say maybe I print it out, keep it in my wallet next to the picture of my fiance because it's my two great loves.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, that's the play there.
That's the move.
And then also get the locket and put a picture of both of them on each side.
She's on one side, Blastoise on the other. Yeah,
exactly.
That sort of looks like she's in love with Blastoise and not in love with
No, it's like when the moms have like their two kids,
Yeah, yep.
Oh, okay. If my mum only had one with two kids, I'd probably be the one that was left out. So
wow, are you really in third place?
That's rough, dude.
Damn.
I'm sorry. You would be first place in my locket, Steve. Unless you were in your animated show, in which case I'm not claiming that kid. Okay, freaking Invincible, dude. So I told people this. Steve, what do you know about this? Do you care about Invincible at all?
I don't know who Invincible is.
Steve
Okay,
does
are
not.
you ever going to watch this?
No.
Okay, good.
I might get
so
you to one day, but it's
no,
fine. You won't.
I'll
it would be
forget by
better.
then, don't worry.
It would okay, good. So I knew nothing about the show, nothing. All I knew is that Greg Miller was like, "You gotta watch it," and then like, don't give up on it. Like in the first episode or whatever, because there's a turn and it's really cool. I knew none of that. So I'm just watching the show, and I got bored almost immediately because I'm like, this is just a Superman thing. This is stupid. And then freaking the first little twist happened. I'm like, yo, what? And then from that point, I was invested. I was like, yo, what the heck? What is happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invincible is like my favorite comic book of all time because of that. And like in the book, the way that plays out is like even crazier because like that reveal you're talking about happens at the end of the first episode, and like in the book it's not until like several issues in, so it really lulls you into this false sense of security, and then that happens and you're just like, oh my god, what is this actually about?
See, and I think I don't have the attention span for that. So, like, if I was reading the book, I would have gave up on the book 1,000%. I would have gave up on the book. But the fact that I was about to give up on the show, like a half an hour in, I was like, But then Greg Miller was like, don't do it. And I was like, all right. And then I saw it, and I was like, yo, it's freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I know what this is. This came up as a pre-roll on Amazon Prime when I was watching something else the other day.
Yeah,
and I think that like. So I heard, again, I knew nothing. I didn't look at any of the advertisements or nothing like that. So I didn't even know if they were like marketing this show as like a gritty, like if they were doing any of that. I think that if I knew that ahead of time, I probably wouldn't care as much as I do. Like the fact that it was like this thing that's like, oh shoot, like this isn't that. Like it went from me being like, this is a ripoff of this thing to it being very not that. And if I went in expecting it to be, it's not a regular Superman thing, I think I wouldn't have been as invested.
I think that's what's special about Invincible, right? There are a lot of, like, ever since Watchmen, right? Like, there's been tons and tons of the whole, like, let's deconstruct the superhero. Let's do a realistic superhero. Let's do gritty superheroes. And I think what's really cool about Invincible is it really taps into that, like, Silver Age, like, classic superhero vibe where, like, things are light and fun and colorful until they're very serious.
Until they're not.
And I love that because, like, that's what real life is like, right? Like, you watch some of the grittier stuff and, like, I can enjoy things that are gritty and have that edge and that darkness to that. But, like, real life is rarely like that, right? Like, real life is a smattering of feelings and emotions and and its peaks and valleys. And like Invincible is so great because it's able to do all of those things. And like, it does originally present itself right through the marketing, through whatever, as like, oh, it's kind of like a parody of a superhero thing. It's got kind of a Spider-Man vibe. He's kind of like, his dad's like Superman. And like, it plays off that cultural or like experiential knowledge that you have, and then subverts those expectations. And like, that is what's so rewarding about it,
It's like it's like good comedy where it's like the thing that makes a lot of it funny is this, because it's like, oh, I know that thing. Oh no, that's slightly different than the thing I know. That's hilarious. Like, it's like a version of that almost. Yeah. Where it's like, it's Superman again, but then it's like, no, it's not. It's not.
But
Superman.
No. It's like the twist at the end of the Good Place season 1, where it's like,
it's a lot like that. It's a lot like that, where like you very much think it's one thing and then it's something else.
Okay. That really made that show for me, was that reveal. Because until then, I was just like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get to that stage and you're just like, oh wow, this is next level.
Yeah, and that is very much the strength of Invincible. I'm super pleased by it. I really never thought that it was gonna ever make it to another medium, because it is such a big, unwieldy story to tell.
And they're they're doing a movie too.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's been in development for longer than the show.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Is that live action, the movie, or is
yeah, and it's being produced by Seth Rogen and his partner Evan Goldberg, who did like Preacher, and they've done a few other things like that. and they actually are executive producers on this too.
Mhm.
So like it'll probably happen eventually. It probably has a better chance of happening now that the show's out and more people
Yeah.
are aware of the brand.
Mhm.
But I remember being so concerned about that because like Invincible's not a story that you can tell in like 3 movies. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was like, how are they going to do now? I didn't know anything before, but now I'm like, how are they going to do that in a movie?
yeah, I mean, they'll either have to really change it a lot or they'll have to like commit to it being a series, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. The what I love about the way that Robert Kirkman, who's the creator, the thing I love about the way he adapts his works is that like it's not one for one. It's not let's recreate this. It's let's capture the spirit of it and do something new with it. So there's a lot that's the same, but there's a lot that's very different. And I imagine they'll just do that if they end up going the live action route, where it's like, all right,
Yeah,
well,
I think he said that. I think he said that in like
And it-
on
yeah.
the Kind of Funny podcast or whatever, where he was like, the movie's going to be different from the show, is
Yeah.
different from the comic.
he did, yeah. That was a great interview. Yeah, so I mean, I'm super stoked about it. And yeah, like you said before, like I do a comic book show, so if you want to go, we reviewed every episode and stuff. The Comics Pals, go check it out. Yeah, we got plenty of Invincible content.
It's true. Everybody, check out Pete. Check out Steve. It's all in the description. Do all the YouTube and podcast things. Rate the show. All that great, good stuff. Thanks for hanging out. You know,
Thanks for having us.
Have a great day.
Yeah, it was good.
Thanks for coming on for the first time ever, Pete. Thanks for returning to the show, Steve.
So great to finally be here. Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it for the first time some other time.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, bye bye.
Catch you next time, everybody.